So I want to introduce you to the Cometer Bio dentine grinder. And like I said in the previous slide, something that I believe is an exciting new technology. However, something that is in the early stages. I believe it still requires a lot more refinement to get it to become a replacement for non-autogenous grafting, which always has that kind of ease of use factor over autogenous there at the moment. So if we look down here, we've got a control panel there, telling you about the cycles and things. And also up at the top here, this is the dentine grinder there itself. This whole unit from top to bottom here is actually single use, and this needs to be changed on a regular basis because when you look inside here, the blades, they get blunted very easily. So there is a long-term costing there for this. And like I said, at the moment, it's still a little bit too expensive, but it's worth knowing about these technologies. We've now got our extracted teeth here, and we're basically going to be placing that within this unit here. And the unit is simply turned from the lock to insert, just like so, and the top part is pulled off. So we've now exposed the blades there, and we're basically going to place the teeth in there as well. So now we've got the teeth in the grinder, a couple of baby premolars there, and the incisor that I showed you there earlier, and we're going to grind this up. So we now got two settings on the grinder. There's the sort, which is I've put at 20 seconds, and the grind, which we're going to put at 3 seconds, right? Now, putting it at those settings is basically going to mean that you're going to get particulate of between 300 and 1200 microns. Anything smaller than say 300, say around 200 microns, it's just going to fall through the bottom drawer and it's going to get discarded, because anything that is that small basically just ends up in a slurry, and slurry based particulate gets resorbed extremely quickly. So now we're going to press start on that. And it's very loud, but you can see that is the particulate there. So let's have a look at that and see what that's like. So you may find that you might have to do this sorting phase and grinding phase a few times, because if you look in here, there's still, difficult to see, but there's still a few particulates in there. So we're going to go back and go to grind. We're going to grind that for a few seconds. And then we're going to sort that again for 20 seconds there. And then we'll have a look and see what we've got. So the sorting phase there is obviously a lot quieter than the grinding phase. But like I said, at the moment, for me, it's quite a crude machine. And it is something that has a lot of potential for the future, but it's a work in progress. So on the side here, we've got two chambers, the upper chamber and the lower chamber. The lower chamber, like I said, is for anything that is below 300 microns, like 200 microns, very small particles. And then over the top here is 300 to 1200, which is what we're looking for. So let's go and open that very carefully. We can have a look. And here is our dentine graft. And we'll be doing that in the demonstration there a bit later. I just also wanted to show you the bottom drawer compartment. You can see that it's very powdery, right? Powder, kind of very, very small particulate. This is something that is just going to disappear very, very quickly, and is something that you don't really want to use for autogenous grafting. If you compare that with the particulate we've got here, you can see the difference in the two particulates there. So you'll be seeing that in the demo, but this is the particulate you're after, not about this. So we're also given one of these glass pots here, and this is where we're going to put the dentine graft into, so that then we can add the cleanser. So now we have the dentine in the Dappens pot there as well, and we've basically got three different solutions that we've got here. So there's a dentine cleanser, there's a buffered phosphate saline, and the EDTA should be around this way. And basically what we're going to do is first, the particulate is submerged in the dentine cleaner. I need to leave that about 10 minutes. And then we're going to move on to the next thing. So let's go and add that. So here now we have our dentine that has had the cleanser on it. You can see it's obviously looking a bit different. And I've just basically just dried that very easily just with some gauze. You can use gauze, you can use a pipette, whatever you really want to, and then move on to the next stage, which is the EDTA, and that's going to be removing all of your organic particles. So we now got a layer of EDTA in there, and we're going to leave that in there for 10 minutes there as well. Like I said, it's a bit of a long process this, but I will skip it there for you so you don't have to sit around watching this dry for. And this is after the EDTA. And now we're going to be adding the buffered phosphate, and that goes in there for 5 minutes, and then there's a final dry. And now this is the final particulate there after it's been dried with gauze and also had the buffered phosphate solution in there as well. And this can now be put through the autoclave to be used there later, as this has a label on it. You can basically label it, date it, put it through the sterilizer there, and just seal it to use it later, or you can use it obviously straight away there if you kind of dry it and mix it with other materials.